So this is a pretty ridiculous comparison. We've got the Lenovo Legion Dual and the Google Pixel 5, the epitome of, I guess, understated playfulness even. And then you've got just bonkers, like off the wall, overpowered, and just redonkulous. But what these phones pack in difference, they also share in terms of how much they cater for the kind of person who values what they stand for. Understated, simple, clean, to the point, all of the rest of the things. This is going to be a comparison mainly because I'm going from having used this phone for 2 months to that phone, and I've been using the Legion for about 24 hours now, and it's a really, really good time to start to tell you how the Legion phone Dual or Legion Dual is making me miss the Pixel in so many ways, but also making me fall in love with the Legion Dual. So I'm going to start with differences, and the really blindingly obvious one is just look at them side by side. I'll talk about little and large. You've got a 6-inch display versus a 6.65-inch display, both actually really similar in terms of resolution and general screen technology. 1080 by 2340 resolution across both. So you've got a sharper display on the Pixel 5 without a shadow of a doubt, but you do get a 90 Hertz screen on the Pixel versus, wait for it, 144 Hertz on the OLED or AMOLED displayed Legion Dual, and it is a thing of beauty. In fact, from a watching experience altogether, the screen on this thing makes it such a treat, and that's really paired with those speakers as well. But it isn't all about the screen size that makes the Legion that big of a phone by comparison to the Pixel. There's also that bezel. Just look at how big the bezel is up top and bottom, because it really celebrates those speakers with that red accenting. You'll see it kind of, oh, and yeah, you've got a selfie camera that pops up as well. Told you it was over the top, but it really does celebrate kind of like the red. You've got RGBs on the back, you've got Legion, which again, that's all poppy uppy when the selfie camera activates. A really stupidly placed camera setup, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, lots and lots and lots of accents and gaming stuffs when it comes to styling. It's big. It's not just 6.7 inches, it's almost a centimeter thick, 9.9 millimeters versus 8 millimeters thick. You've also got a heavier phone, 239 grams versus 150 grams. A Pixel feels like a waif by comparison. Super, super slim and lightweight versus, there you go, it's a big phone, but there's something really satisfying about it as well. Definitely the Pixel is the one I'd recommend to any butterfingers out there. The bioresin back, the fact it's IP68 water and dust resistant versus a glass back, no moving parts. It feels like it's just a really solid little dinky unit. This feels like a really, really solid, massive unit that would do some damage, but it's also very cool. There are some nice elements to it. You get that in-display fingerprint scanner, which as you can see is nice and responsive. No water resistance, but you do get a water repellent coat. And I mean, if you like your styling a little bit cray-cray, then this is absolutely the phone for you. It's kind of like something that fell off the set of a Gundam movie. Really, really like it, but also kind of hate it, which is exactly what you want from a gaming phone. It looks like a terrorizing Decepticon. So big, little, pretty sure we've covered that in exhaustive detail. 90 Hertz OLED versus 140 Hertz OLED as well. So there is that. You'd expect a massive battery by comparison on the Legion Dual, and you do get one. 5,000 milliamps versus around 4,080 milliamps on the Pixel 5. It's not as big by comparison as I thought it might be. I thought it might potentially even eke up to the 6,000 Motorola G-Power kind of territory milliamps, but it doesn't need to. It seemed to have gotten me through a day pretty much fine all by itself. I haven't been using it intensively today though, it must be said. But there is a special story when it comes to the battery in this phone. Thanks to the fact you've got a USB at the base and you've got a USB at the base or the left side, depending on how you're holding it. It'll charge simultaneously from those 2 USB ports. They've kind of done an Oppo here. For anyone who doesn't know, Oppo's SuperVOOC 2.0 has 2 batteries that charge simultaneously from one charger, which is how they're able to reach speeds of up to 65 watts. On the Find X2 Pro, for example, and Lenovo's taken it a step further. They haven't just put 2 batteries, they've put 2 actual charging modules in here, so you can charge at 90 hertz, no, wrong one, 90 watts, and you also can charge up to 50% in 10 minutes if you use the right chargers, which is bonkers. But that's really the running theme of this phone, a little bit bonkers. But where that really comes into its own is when you want to watch content on. I have gamed on this, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually just prefer this as a multimedia device. It might be the most over-the-top multimedia phone of all time. I was playing Genshin Impact, got pretty warm, a little bit uncomfortable actually after a while, and I had to just like put it down, to be honest. I didn't try like playing with the clock speeds or anything like that because I haven't been using it for long enough to warrant it. But what I have done for hours on end that I didn't anticipate doing, I've been watching Disney Plus in the background while getting on with other design work and stuff that's been quite mindless. You can just see kind of like the quality of the speakers. Really solid and front facing, pinch out, full screen. This is immersive. I'm going to stop that before I get copyright restrictions on my YouTube if I haven't already. The speakers in the Google Pixel 5 are good, but they are not that good. And the picture on the screen is really good too. But the reduced size by comparison, it just feels more special with this one. Maybe also the fact I was watching Star Wars while I'm using a phone like this. Did you just see something glint right there? Yeah, of course you did. These are the LNR pads, and when you're gaming, you can set the pressure sensitivity on these. Nothing really new per se. We've seen stuff like this on ROG phones of old, but they do work really well. But what might be a challenge is if anyone has smaller hands, reaching over and around to them might be a bit of an issue. What you get on here is that in-display fingerprint scanner, which is nice and responsive versus a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner. So that's one area that the Legion phone Dual also takes lead over the Pixel 5. But many people, as you commented very vocally, and I respect it, prefer a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner. Indeed, when you're holding your phone, a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner is always in the right place for your finger to lie. From an ergonomics point of view also, you can't overstate how stupid the positioning of the cameras on the Legion phone are for anyone who wants to use this as a real phone. Yeah, when you're holding it in landscape, position kind of makes sense. But when you're holding it in portrait, like you are with a phone 99.999% of the time, even if you are a gamer, look at that. That's just like asking for smudgy photos. And indeed the results are smudgy when you haven't cleaned your lenses. Clean your lenses, kids. But even when you have cleaned your lenses, the results are just a little bit clumsier than they would be from a Pixel. The Pixel's like the smartest camera phone I've used in a long time, even though it has a really old sensor. Google software magic is just killer, and Lenovo's unfortunately doesn't quite stack up. So while you can take a cute pic of a cute cat, you won't take a pin sharp picture almost every single time, especially when the lights go down. Ultimately, the Pixel 5 has been such a joy to use, and it's actually quite refreshing going from a really tapered, moderated and stripped back kind of phone with a Snapdragon 765G, so dare I say an underpowered phone, to a total behemoth. That Snapdragon 865, double the RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of RAM on this one, 128 gigabytes of storage, 256 as a base capacity, but this one has 512 gigabytes. It's just a completely different beast. And then yes, of course, there is gaming. I can play Genshin Impact at max settings on this, and I couldn't do it on that without dropping a few frames here and there and noticing it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, guys, this world isn't too small to have a redonkulous gaming phone and a Google Pixel 5 live side by side, and also live quite happily in my oversized hands. But what you do get is a serious consideration. Do you want practicality or do you want multimedia clout? Like I said, it's been a random video, but I've enjoyed making it. One take wonder, you let me know. If you enjoyed it, click that thumbs up button and subscribe for more of stuff like this. Thanks for watching.